Hello, my darlings. This is Aoi Hashiba, and welcome back to my channel where I talk, stream, and create anything Yu-Gi-Oh related. A very highly requested video from you guys was for me to draw Atem. So, what do? We start off, of course, with the face. Atem has very angular shapes, so this is what we do. Then we draw the nose and the eyes, map out the face, and start immediately with the bangs. As we remember, his left bang is hanging over his face, and it is a little bit higher than his right bang, which is covering more than half of his eyebrows. Then we map out his collar, the shoulders, and do the hair. As we remember, I've mentioned it in one of my shorts when Sensei talked about the inspiration for Atem's hair was, of course, the shape of the palm. And that is what we do since Atem is facing us from the right side, 3/4 right side. His spikes should be also facing the right, like the edges. Aside only from the couple of ones on his left, they could be facing left. And basically, this is it. After that, we start with the line arting process. So my sketch is always messy whenever I'm mapping out anything, any scene, it is super messy. And after that, I jump into line arting. And again, very messy strokes. But I usually start off with outlining the bangs first, since they're the front of his face, basically. So I do that. Then I jump into the eyes to map them out before I start. Basically, if you do the eyes, it's much easier to then do the shape of the face, because the eyes are the most important part of his features. They need to be defined, so this is what I do. I start drawing the eyes, shape them as closely as I can to how Sensei was drawing. Add details here and there before I start with shaping out the face. Sometimes when Sensei would draw Atem, he would have his ear either sticking out, like his bangs would be behind his ear, and other times it would be the opposite. So that depends on what you want to do. Then I continue on shaping the ear, adding more details, and start working on the collar. Don't forget the little buckles. And just adding more details, more ruffles to his clothes. See how layered it is. And continue on with the bangs. His bangs shouldn't be absolutely straight. They need to be cut in few pieces, like where you can see where his bangs are bending. I don't know how to describe this, but yes, if you draw them fully straight, it looks kind of weird. So try to break them up a little bit. Then I continue on with the collar so I can finish the left bang and erase anything extra that should be beneath. I should have used a separate layer, but I decided to be a little bit extra. Then I finish off with the bangs. Again, nothing is absolutely straight. Do not do that. Atem's bangs are not straight. They're still hair. Regardless of the shape, they're still hair. Then I finish off with the jacket. And start mapping out the rest of the face so I can do his choker. Sometimes his face also gives me problems because I want it to be sharp, because Atem's features are super sharp, unlike Yugi's. But Atem also has a very tall cheekbone, so sometimes it's really I wouldn't say difficult, but you need to balance it out so that everything is matching accordingly as closely as possible as I can to Sensei's work, basically. So after that, I do his choker and finish off the neck. I also do the Adam's apple. I don't know, I have a thing to always draw Adam's apple. And then I need to do the chain. And oh my god, chains are the worst thing that I have to draw in my life. I hate drawing chains so freaking much. But it's something that has to be done always. With Atem especially. Then I finish his hair. So I do his little light bulbs, I would say. And of course, do the little spikes separating the pink and the black. Just adding a little bit of details, making them a little bit sharper. And this is also where I realized that, wow, I drew them on the same layer, because of course I did. Why the hell did I create a separate layer? So I continue on with my journey and draw the middle bolt. And sometimes Sensei would actually draw it like a lightning bulb. But I decided not to do that because for some reason in my art it makes it, I don't know, like it takes away from the hair. It's like a little bit too much. So I try to balance it out a little bit. And yeah, then I separate once again the pink and the black. Just doing these little triangles, like edges, so it kind of looks like hair, because if you just do once again a straight line, it doesn't look like a hair, it kind of looks plasticky. So then I remove any extra lines that I have on my previous layer, realizing once again that, yeah, right, I did forget to do it the first time that I was drawing on the same layer. So here I go, just like figuring out which layer is on what and cleaning up all the edges, all the extra lines, fixing the line art, and just redrawing his hair a little bit because I noticed that, yeah, no, I don't like this part anymore. I need to fix that. Once again, if you add a little bit too much details, it just kind of destroys the image. It makes his hair look a little bit too much. So to finish off Atem's hair, I add the little 3 lines that he has on his hair, on his bangs and the bulbs. I also noticed that I made his bang a little bit too thick. So I fix that and start working on the face, just adding a little bit more extra details to make his gaze appear more intimidating, more like him, I would say. And Sensei, he loved drawing lots of extra lines on the face to make it more sharp, more edgier, angrier. So I'm just here playing around to see what works best for the gaze that I've given to Atem in this drawing. And just adding more details here and there to see what works. And just fixing the line art overall. Then after that, I immediately jump into probably my favorite part of drawing, which is adding color, light, shade, shadow, everything. This time I decided to go for just a simple black and white shading. So I fill in the dark part of his hair, I fill in his choker, I fill in his shirt. I'm here experimenting, thinking like, okay, what's the best that I want to do? Maybe I should smudge it out so it looks smooth, but then I decided to go against it and just fill it in with simple black lines, art. Yeah, just sketch it. You know, sketch it just makes it look a little bit better. Then I just add a few more details with the eraser, add a little bit of highlights on the black, and just on the metal overall, before I jump into shading his coat. So I just use a very simple gray, and just going over it on a separate layer, filling it in. and erase any excess that I had over the line art uh, that went over the line art, yeah. And I could have just done this more simply. I could have just chosen my line art as main, and then none of it would just go outside of the line art. But I, of course, completely forgot about that and just went, yeah, potato, I'll erase, whatever. So I added a little bit of shadows to just make Atem look more prominent, just broadening out his shoulders. Oh, and here I go. I actually selected it. Amazing. So my shadows wouldn't go over the line, and then I continue on with the white part of his jacket, just adding more shadows, going over the chains, because the chain is also but the same color as the white part of his jacket, adding highlights here and there. Very simple, very easy. And then I start with the bangs. I use the same shading colors simply because his bangs, like the yellow part of his hair, it's very light in comparison. So in black and white, it would be about the same shade color. So I go under the bangs, I go over the little lines just to add a little bit more of dimension to the bangs, make it more prominent, more 3D. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this, guys. So yeah, just following where the light source is and where the shadows should be. Very simple shading. Very simple. Before I jump into the shadows of his face, since his left side of the face, it's in shade, obviously, so I almost fully make it dark, leaving only the little highlight of the cheek. I go under the eyes, over the bridge of the nose, under the eyebrow, under the bangs, just adding more and more dimension, making Atem's face sharp and prominent. I add more details. I finish the neck, just having a little highlight. Then I go over his collarbone and just seeing what works, basically. Because sometimes his collarbone could be in the shadow, sometimes it's not, so I just see what works better. I finish the ear and jump into the eyes, as well as the metal details that I totally forgot to do in the first place when I was doing the chain. So I go over through that, finish that up, and start working on the eyes. I add a shadow part of the eyes, making them stand out, and start working on the shadow of the pink part of his hair. Once again, just making it dimensional so Atem could appear, I don't know, guys, dimensional, 3D. Then I finally finish it up, working on the brows, just adding more details here and there, and yep, this is the finished product, my darlings. Very simple, very easy. Honestly, drawing Atem is very simple if you know what you're doing, or if you have been drawing him for so many times, so many years. Atem is fairly easy to do, so my darlings, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure that you can do it, and hopefully my little, I don't even know what to call this video, tutorial, drawing video, drawing with me video has helped you a little bit. And happy drawing, my darlings. If you want me to draw more characters, so please request them. And I guess, my darlings, I'll see you all in the next video. Lots of love. See you next time. Bye-bye, my darlings. Bye-bye. Bye.